The Torah is not meant for scholars. It's meant for you and I. It's not meant for exceptional living. It's meant for daily living. In this week's Torah portion, we have ample proof of that. Vayigash is the name of the Sidra, the portion for this week. And we have to remind ourselves of what has happened before in order to fully grasp what is happening now. What has occurred previously is that Joseph, being the favored son, had these prophetic visions of mom and dad, of the whole universe bowing before him, and him receiving this magnificent coat, a gift from his father, made him even more the target of vitriol and hatred by his brothers. So when they saw him coming, they devised a plan and threw him to a pit, a terrible dark hole in the ground that our sages tell us was not just simply a pit, but it was filled with scorpions, filled with poisonous snakes, that would finally get rid of this terrible brat that had so spoiled their lives. It is in Joseph's mind that I want to place ourselves. What would we do if somebody wanted to kill us? How would we respond if we were the target of their plans and deviousness? Notwithstanding the fact that they were his brothers, notwithstanding the fact that they may be our own family, how would we respond to their attack? This is key. This is very important, because from day to day, I personally deal with so many families who do not forgive other family members for things done to them, for slight harms committed decades ago. They build up such a burning hatred that it grows upon itself like a cancerous lesion. So when Joseph, taken from the pit, is sold into slavery, and when Joseph, taken from this one caravan and sold into slavery to another, when he winds up in the court of Potiphar, and then is framed and thrown into yet again prison, does he think, oh, my poor brothers, where are they? I doubt it. More along the lines of, it's all their fault. Life was intended to have been so glorious for me, the chosen one in my family. And my own brothers did this to me. Normal human proclivity is not to forgive. When we read the Bible, well, we tend to be very magnanimous with the feelings of other people. Oh, wasn't it wonderful that Joseph, the great righteous, forgiving individual, was able to let go of the sins of the past? That's not how we read human emotions. And that's not normally how people live their life either. We build hatred. We build anxiety and angst and anger until it grows to such dynamic proportions that they overwhelm us. What is not surprising is that when Joseph's brothers come before him and they don't recognize him, that Joseph is angry. What is surprising is that Joseph does not act upon his worst impulses and take his brothers and throw them into the pit of Egypt. And as many stories as you hear about prison today, about how prisoners are treated in jails today, just imagine how it was thousands of years ago in Egypt. It could only have been 10 times as bad. That Joseph ultimately forgives his brothers is almost miraculous. And what is the cause of it? Says the Chafetz Chaim, that Joseph was listening to his brothers, and when one brother cried to another in their theoretical privacy because they were speaking their own language, Hebrew, not Egyptian, one of the brothers says, Ma asa Elohim lanu, what has God done to us? At that moment, Joseph's mind is like a switch is turned in his head. Joseph's mind is turned back to what once was, and he becomes and he reclaims his true destiny. He becomes at this moment a tzaddik. What is it about that phrase that makes Joseph turn around and embrace his brothers and scream out for everyone to hear. I'm Joseph. Ani Yosef. Says the Chafetz Chaim, it was the fact that his brothers invoked God's name. I want to point out two possibilities for this week's Torah portion for your consideration. One is that perhaps hearing God's name is enough. Perhaps invoking the name of the Lord sometimes is enough to make us realize where we've gone wrong and then go right. I want to also remind you that it is the first words of the Ten Commandments that God introduces humanity to a moral stricture, a moral code. I am the Lord your God. Maybe the knowledge that there is an I in the universe that is always looking at us is enough to make us the best we possibly can be. To do the ultimate goodness of forgiveness. Choose. I don't know which of those is correct, but perhaps you do. At all events, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom and a page from the leaf of Joseph, which will not only make all of our lives so much better, but will improve ourselves to the extent that our lives personally will become richer, not just the object of our forgiveness.